5 o'clock we'll leave.
How we get home?
The woman continues to deny that she is Shantae Anderson.
I was going to show you a picture of the thing. Who is that?
Who's Shantae? That's my sister.
Investigators realize they do, in fact, have a case of mistaken identity.
We made a mistake. We thought you were your sister. And I apologize. What was I saying, sorry?
I was just seeing her since like the summertime. My boyfriend and her boyfriend got into it.
Who's your boyfriend?
I don't even know his real name. What you been mad?
Do you have a phone number for him?
No.
Unable to obtain the name or number of Shantae's boyfriend, detectives press Vanessa for the address where he and Shantae might be staying.
You stay in Frankfurt and Stanbury.
Think I'm staying with her? Who lives over there with her?
I don't know who stayed there, but I know who told her that's her boyfriend.
November 4th, 3 days after the shooting, police descend upon the address provided by Shantae's sister.
They announced, police search warrant, and no one was there.
The house is empty when they go in.
Had to clear the area to make sure there was nobody gonna attack them or anything else like that.
Once the house is cleared, detectives scour it for possible clues.
They just checked the whole area out. They were looking for weapons. They were looking for anything that allowed them to connect to that crime that they had.
On the counter, detectives find a stack of mail, but not all of it is addressed to Shantae.
They find mail belonging to another individual that lives there, a man named Leviticus.
Detectives now believe Leviticus is Shantae's boyfriend.
The police suspect that Leviticus may also be associated with the robbery and maybe the getaway driver.
Police also discover mail and an ID card belonging to a woman named Ebony McEwen Ross.
The mail belonging to Ebony verifies that she lives there.
But who is Ebony McEwen Ross? Is she the other woman in the surveillance video? The next morning, detectives search information on the 2 names found in the home.
They cross-check any social media accounts to determine how they're connected.
Police locate an account for 28-year-old Ebony McEwen Ross. Scrolling through Ebony's feed, they discover that she's friends with Shantae Anderson. But that's not all.
They found a picture of Ebony, and behind her was exactly the same vehicle that was involved in the shooting. The SUV, dark color, and the back window that was taped up
is the SUV seen leaving the auto parts store. Investigators find that Ebony has an SUV registered in her name.
Detectives put out an APB for Ebony's vehicle. They also put one out for another vehicle, one that's registered to Leviticus Cooper.
The police now believe they have identified 3 people involved in the robbery.
It isn't long before the APB on Leviticus's vehicle pays off.
Police did pull Leviticus over. They were able to arrest him.
Once Leviticus is in custody, he spills the beans on a romance involving not just Shantae Anderson, but Ebony McEwen Ross as well. A romance that was the catalyst for the murder of James Haller Jr.
These 2 women will do or die for their man, no matter what.
Sometimes you just need a moment. Self-care has never been as easy. Gummy vitamins from Nature, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand.
Ooh, I don't think they take that here.
Of course they take Discover. Stuck in the past, baby.
You're the one who owns 13 pairs of parachute pants?
And these are my 14.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places nationwide.
This is what you can buy for $10 at KFC $10 Tuesdays. And this is what you can buy for $10 at a coffee shop.
This is coffee.
I know, it was expensive.
Get more bang for your bucket at KFC. 8 pieces of original recipe fried chicken or 8 tenders for just $10.
With USPS Ground's advantage, it's like you're with us every step of the way. Right on time. Stay in the know from your dock to their door.
You know, they say that AI is the future, but Apartments.com has been using apartmental intelligence for many years with Carl here.
Describe your perfect apartment because Carl's listening.
2 beds, 2 baths, AC,
Okay.
a barbecue pit, maybe a microwave on top of the stove. A pool, that's that pool.
Oh, something's going on.
Think of it, think of it. That's it. That's exactly what I wanted.
Apartments.com, place to find a place. Ooh.
At Choice Hotels, like this Comfort Hotel, you get more for your money so you can maximize any vacation, like starting game day with a free hot breakfast. I got waffles, how about you? Waffles! Stay Twice, you get a $50 gift card when you book direct.
Car breakdowns can wreck your wallet. But if you've got Endurance, you could never pay out of pocket for a car repair again.
In my first year with Endurance, they covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
Right now, you can get $300 off any plan. So call and get your free quote now.
Tomorrow, there's a young black man fighting for his life. Payback.
She wanted revenge.
It's back. He felt that he'd been cut out of the deal and that was unacceptable. Don't miss all new Payback, starting tomorrow at 9 on TV1.
5 days after the shooting death of 69-year-old James Hawley Jr., Detroit police have identified 2 prime suspects in the case: Shantae Anderson and Ebony McEwen Ross.
Surveillance video shows both women there at the store where they committed this armed robbery.
The investigation has also yielded another person of interest, Leviticus Cooper, whom police believe to be Shantae's boyfriend.
Leviticus may also be involved in the robbery, maybe also the getaway driver.
While Shantae and Ebony seem to be in the wind, police have tracked down Leviticus and have brought him in for questioning. Detectives asked Leviticus about his relationship with Shantae Anderson. Leviticus characterizes it as something different than the once-in-a-lifetime romance envisioned by Shantae.
We were making it out for a year and a half. You had a romantic relationship, we were sexual.
But it's what Leviticus says about Ebony McEwen Ross that really piques detectives' attention.
We were messing around for 5 and a half.
There was some type of love triangle going on.
When you get your girlfriend, huh? I just said, I let my boyfriend, they found out about each other.
According to Leviticus, Shantae was initially devastated to learn that he was seeing another woman.
This crushes Shantae because she's in love.
Not that Ebony was exactly thrilled to learn about Shantae either.
They know that it was true. I said, I'm not going to do that.
He was sleeping with both of us, and she looking at me like, this is my man, and I'm looking at her like, this is my man.
These women are having to vie for time, affection, commitment, attention. So it does create this kind of messy system of competition.
Leviticus says that's when he offered a solution that he described as a win-win-win.
Leviticus proposed that they all be in a relationship together.
Leviticus says Ebony seemed cool with the proposal, but that Shantae had some misgivings, though eventually she came around.
She's thinking, if I leave, I'm no longer going to have this man in my life. I'm going to be alone.
She decides, I think I can deal with this.
I agreed to it mainly because I loved him and I felt good in him. When you love somebody like that, I have no choice but either to accept it or reject it.
That tells you that he has a man over both of them, that they would even say this is an okay thing for us to do.
Leviticus is a strong personality. Both the women are romantically attracted to him, and it almost becomes cult-like.
And then you live in girlfriends, right?
He has 2 women that are there for his pleasure to provide for his emotional needs as well.
Any man can have 2 girlfriends living together, know about
Tate's got her fully satisfied and okay with that. Very unusual relationship.
But there was one person who Leviticus had no desire to make moves with. Shantae's 4-year-old daughter.
What's her daughter? She's not at the house, right?
Her daughter ends up moving in with her mom.
Detectives are stunned by Leviticus's candid revelations. But what they really want to know is if Shantae and Ebony were behind the murder of James Hollow Jr. Leviticus wastes no time throwing both his women under the bus.
She's probably mad with me. She's probably gone. That's it.
Question was raised, well, were you the driver? And he said, no.
I ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm telling you, the honest to God truth. I would never tell you because I love it so much. I would put it on the
Leviticus explains he didn't even know about the crime until the day after.
He says that after the crime, he met up with Miss Anderson and she told him what occurred.
She wanted you to meet up with her?
She always up on stuff.
Yeah, she told me what
I call her for baby.
What's the first thing she said?
You know, she was the daughter of mine. Saying I ain't got no place to go. She said, I'm going wrong. One thing I'm going to do, tell me what I do, Robert. You wouldn't have told me, baby, I'll be there. Why you killed me, Robert? Why you looking for me, see? You killed baby. I'm like, what?
Did she tell you where the guns are?
So she do it, that's it. She tell me where.
Leviticus also tells detectives where to find Shantae.
Leviticus told the police that he hid her at his grandmother's house.
When you receive information on where a wanted person may be, you want to take the right steps and be cautious, especially if that person may be armed at that time.
As for Ebony, Leviticus claims he hasn't seen her.
Where do you think she's at?
I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea.
Detectives asked Leviticus what drove these two women, especially a once hard-working single mom like Shantae, to commit such a brutal crime.
Leviticus thought that the motive dealt with the fact that it was his birthday. They wanted to surprise him. They wanted to buy him a gift. So they decided, because they had no money, to rob this store.
Detectives find that statement hard to believe. But with Ebony McEwen Ross still MIA, detectives shift their focus to bringing Shantae Anderson into custody.
Police goes to the house. They surround it. They're hoping that she'll surrender peacefully.
She gave herself up. They arrested her without any kind of situation or anything.
However, Ebony is nowhere to be found.
With Shantae in custody, detectives hope they'll soon learn the true motive behind this seemingly senseless shooting, and how a good girl like Shantae wound up on the wrong side of the law.
I feel like if I was not dating him, I would have been put in no situation like this at all.
Keep that shower fresh feeling all day with Dove Antiperspirant. 72-hour sweat and odor protection, powered by ProCeramide technology. Visibly healthier, smoother skin for arm-raising confidence. Dove 72-hour protection, underarm skincare.
With new McValue at McDonald's, you'll get more than you expect for breakfast. Like buy a sausage burrito and add a sausage McMuffin for $1. Because a late-night double shift deserves an early morning deal. Get more than you expect with new McValue.
I was drowning in debt. I didn't even know how I was going to buy food for my kids.
I had over $36,000 in debt. If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get out of debt myself.
I picked up the phone and called National Debt Relief.
They were my savior.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief negotiates with your creditors to reduce the amount you owe.
National Debt Relief was able to reduce my debt by over $21,000.
From the minute I made the call to National Debt Relief, I felt immediate relief. They had a plan for me.
They treated me like a real person, not a number.
It really was a team working with me.
National Debt Relief negotiated with all of my creditors and reduced the amount that I owe. And I'm now debt-free.
If you owe more than $10,000, call or visit nationaldebtrelief.com to find out how you can become debt-free.
Mom, look at all these great docs I found on ZocDoc. Do you have double pin guard? Dr. Cleaves makes people feel comfortable, and Dr. Barbosa is incredibly attentive. Booked it, sweetie. Rose.
You've got options. Book now.
Police have arrested Shantae Anderson, one of the two women who they believe is responsible for the robbery murder that killed James Haller Jr.
She comes out of the home and surrenders without incident.
Back at the station, detectives grill Shantae about her involvement in the crime.
I will be honest with you, I've worked around the police a lot. I'm very smart. And it's not that I don't want to answer your questions, but I prefer just to get the advisor's advice.
That's fair, but you know, there's some pretty hefty allegations that's been leveled against you. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you know, when you put it all together and it goes over to the prosecutor's office, they're going to make their decision whether you say anything or not. Okay.
Detectives lay out the charges against her. For Shantae, it's an almost out-of-body experience.
It is very real. That's not me actually taking somebody's life. I've never been in trouble in my life. It just felt like, no, this can't be.
People suppress information if I don't say it out loud, and if I keep convincing myself I'm a good person, then it never happened.
With Shantae still refusing to answer questions, detectives decide to terminate the interview. Between Leviticus Cooper's initial statement and the surveillance video from the shooting, detectives have enough evidence to charge Shantae with felony murder and armed robbery.
They had very strong evidence against her in this particular case. In Michigan, that's mandatory life in prison if convicted without parole.
A week after Shantae's arrest, the search for Ebony McEwen Ross comes to an end.
Ebony surrenders eventually to the police.
There's nothing to hide for her anymore, and there's no benefit to hiding.
She came to the police station, got out of that SUV. They had seen the surveillance video, and asked who she was, and was taken into custody. They're not really sure where she was during that period of time, and she did not elaborate on it.
Unlike Shantae, Ebony has plenty to say to detectives.
Was it your idea to go there? Whose idea was it? It was Shantae's idea? You and Robert?
Yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen until I got there.
You guys ever done anything like this in the past? No. What were you guys doing it for?
I don't have an answer. I wish I did. I wish I had an answer for that family. I don't.
When you make all this?
Life is over. A lot of stuff happened like that.
Detectives press Ebony on Leviticus's involvement, but she immediately shuts them down.
There is speculation that Leviticus was the getaway driver.
Did Leviticus have anything to do with any of this? So what was Leviticus's role at all, if any?
She didn't give him up and say he was involved at all.
Ebony tells detectives a man named J-Rock was the one driving the getaway car.
How can we identify J-Rock? How can I find him? Do you know anything about him?
Nothing. And that's the worst part. I don't know nothing.
During the investigation, nobody came up with a rob.
She very well may have been protected, Leviticus. They went all the way to rob a store for him just to get him a gift.
Ebony McEwen Ross is charged with felony murder and 2 counts of armed robbery.
The police were never able to actually figure out who the driver was or to actually implicate Leviticus more than harboring after the fact.
For helping Shante lay low after the shooting, Leviticus Cooper is formally charged with accessory after the fact.
Leviticus was charged because he let her hide at his grandmother's house after the shooting.
With Leviticus, Ebony, and Shante all in custody, one question remains. What truly led Shante Anderson to pull the trigger that fateful day?
In my professional opinion, women commit crimes for men because of love.
It doesn't have to be rational. It doesn't have to be logical. She loved him. And it led her to make some very destructive decisions.
The General gives you a break to keep you covered.
Yeah, whether it's on your car insurance or taking a break from being the auto-tune guy.
With USPS Ground Advantage, it's like you're with us every step of the way. Right on time. Stay in the know from your dock to their door.
So I'm at the garden, and this guy's talking about this incredible on-court dining experience where you get great food, get to hang with players. So I go up to the usher and I say, hey, put me on a list. And he says, no. And I say, well, you know, I don't normally do this, but no. Stiller. And he's like, nothing. And I say, maybe there's another Ben you might let into your pocket, Mr. Ben Franklin. And he says, that's illegal. And it's not about who you are. It's just about having a Sapphire Reserve card. So now I'm on the list. And I didn't get arrested, so it was good night. Yeah.
We're in a volcano to test Finish Ultimate against tough burnt-on stains. Finish Ultimate breaks them down, cuts grease and boosts shine to the ultimate clean, even on the toughest stains.
At DriveTime.com, you can customize your own monthly payment.
So I can pay less than $300 a month?
Yeah, here's a sliding thingy.
Now just go to the DriveTime dealership.
Okay. That's the deal I made on my phone.
This is a commercial. Go get your real deal at DriveTime.com.
Car breakdowns can wreck your wallet.
I had a sensor light up on my dashboard. $2,600.
But if you got endurance, you could never pay out of pocket for a car repair again.
In my first year with Endurance, they covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
Right now, you can get $300 off any plan, plus a year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value free, all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-800-578-8520 for a free quote.
Mount was gone.
You know what? That's good. You can't afford fish market all the time. Yeah, we need
Looking for a reason to try the $5 meal deal with Real Power. Here's one, 2, 3, 4, and the price makes 5. Get more than you expect with the $5 meal deal with new McFadden.
I'm an extract dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
What can you know?
I'm sure Leviticus received some satisfaction in knowing that there are 2 women that love him deeply and are willing to share him.
I know what I
the
see
tables turned
and what I
in
know
this romance.
that what pissed me
It
off.
became
You don't
quite
see your
destructive
work
and
how you
unhealthy
making all this money.
and laden with a power dynamic When you're in a relationship that has some level of perversion and power to it, and you love someone, things get messy.
That shit made me mad. I'm telling you.
Consumer Reports runs programs on more than 50 road
like that. I wouldn't even
reliability
out there and
surveys,
get away.
owner satisfaction surveys, and safety ratings from IIHS. And for 2025, Consumer Reports' most reliable automotive brand is Subaru. It's no surprise they also named Subaru the best overall automotive brand. Safe, reliable, trusted, loved. Subaru.
Don't worry, Shaq. The General gives you a break, whether it's on your car insurance.
Same with me. I'm supposed to have businesses already too. That is coming, but one thing, we ain't supposed to be working slavery like in the 1950s.
For a great low rate, go with the General.
I bank with a big bank, with a big logo and big fancy branches.
And I bank with Borrow
My
and have a
daddy
free
is
bank
supposed to be making real
Seriously?
money. Jack, you can't open up all these places and make money. That's type of stuff y'all daddy supposed to be doing.
Borrow has no branches.
Nah, if he get there with the stuff,
Borrow has over 40,000 free ATMs and deposit cash at CVS for free.
and it could have been like I told him, a
I got a
family
free
business.
keychain.
And
Just think,
I have a
he
free
done
bank
listened
account.
to maybe about over 10 years ago.
Get started today at borrowmoney.com.
Just think about where we could have been
helps
at
my
now.
family get the
Where he was
medications
poor
we
with
need
his
at an
wife
affordable price.
and did right instead of
I
just
love
saying he had too
Durance
many people in
because
his
it
head
is safe by
and he
outside.
listened to everything else and he wanted
They'll
to do what
say,
he
here are
wanted.
the prices for this at this place and this place and this place, and you know, pick
By
the
now,
lowest spot.
we probably would have had like
If you
2
are
hours
in
already
a
had a house for
situation
y'all.
where your
Not about
pet
the house
needs
we live in. If
medication,
you would
you
have
should
lived, I'm pretty sure
absolutely check out
we
Better.
would have had the money. I'm telling you. Daniel would have already had a car waiting on him before he got old enough to drive. Or right at about 16, 17.
We were
I say no more than 18. Daniel would have already had a car waiting on him.
Exactly.
And it would have been better than that.
If you're a smoker, I have a tip for you. Make a video of yourself
I'm telling you.
before all this happens.
I'm telling
You can quit. Call 1-800-QUIT now for help getting free medication.
In Detroit, single mom Shantae Anderson has been charged in the murder of military veteran and beloved community figure James Haller Jr. Another woman, Ebony McEwen Ross, has also been charged in the crime, which stemmed from the robbery of the auto parts store where Mr. Haller was the manager.
They were charged with felony murder, as well as 2 counts of armed robbery.
The investigation also revealed that the 2 young women were in a polyamorous relationship with 39-year-old Leviticus Cooper prior to the crime.
Talking about a 39-year-old man, a 28 and a 23-year-old woman. This little love triangle, that's not, common.
As for Leviticus, he's been charged as an accessory after the fact. In his interview, Leviticus claimed he had nothing to do with the murder, and told police he believed Shantae and Ebony committed the robbery in order to secure the necessary funds to buy him a birthday present.
They're doing this whole, it's your birthday, let's turn up. They want to make sure that they're pleasing to him.
It speaks to desperation. They engaged in this because they loved him.
Both women decide to forego a trial and take a plea deal. At her sentencing hearing, Shantae claims she has no memory of committing the crime.
I don't really remember what happened. It's like a fog.
She was highly inebriated with alcohol and weed throughout the day of the shooting. To say that you had no memory because you've been drinking, I mean, we've all had a couple drinks, maybe gone a little bit too far, but you don't murder someone.
Shantae tells the courtroom that the true motive behind the crime was fear. Fear that she'd upset her man, Leviticus Cooper, who over the past few months had morphed from a loving, caring partner into something far more menacing.
Leviticus ends up becoming very controlling and possessive. She takes orders and she obeys.
When you feel like you in love with that person, you kind of overlook all the negative.
He was 16 years her senior. when there's such a substantial age difference. There is an element of control and power.
Shantae says she considered leaving, but deep down, she still loved Leviticus.
Even when there was a negative going on, basically, I would make excuses.
She got so caught up in, I want to please him. I want to make sure that he still loves me.
Shantae says that on the afternoon of the crime, she and Ebony were hanging out, having a few drinks, worrying about what they could buy Leviticus for his birthday. Moments later, Leviticus's friend, a man Shantae claims they knew only as J-Rock, allegedly rolled up in Ebony's black SUV.
I remember J-Rock telling us that Leviticus said go ride with him somewhere.
Shantae explains that J-Rock suggested it was time to go shopping for Leviticus, whether the two women had money or not. Shantae and Ebony did as they were told.
Basically, anything Leviticus said, go. J-Rock knew that if he threw his name in there, that we were going to listen.
It was an opportunity for her to prove that her love was unwavering, that she was deeply devoted to Leviticus.
If J-Rock wouldn't have said his name, I wouldn't agree to nothing.
Whether J-Rock or perhaps even Leviticus encouraged Shantae and Ebony to commit the robbery is unclear. Because, as Shantae tells the court, from that point on, things get fuzzy.
We were drinking and smoking, so I really don't remember what happened.
When it's their turn, prosecutors pick up the story where Shantae left off and spell out what they believe happened inside the auto parts store on the evening of November 1st, 2017.
I would brush my teeth about 15 minutes, they not even know. A breath station, no time. I could tell which teeth it is, because I could taste it, and I could smell it. And when they come from that teeth, it don't taste good.
Ebony starts taking the money out of the register.
Helen came out of the back. She raised the store.
A single shot struck Mr. Holland in the head, causing him to collapse to the floor.
He ran out immediately after that.
The women jumped in the passenger side of the SUV.